So, you might have heard of a little game called Bat the Bitch, You Bastard. Or sorry, Battlebit Remastered. That's the name. That's the official name. So Battlebit Remastered was a little project that was really started gaining steam around 2 months ago. With a bunch of news outlets, it just kind of exploded. Hey, again, talking about games that just a couple people made. This was a game made by 3 people that just completely exploded overnight. Bunch of articles written about it. Battlebit Remastered is essentially a game... Excuse me. It is a game in the style of Battlefield or other ones of those that sort of subgenre of mass battle sort of sandbox multiplayer shooters, right? Primarily Battlefield is going to be the go-to example. It is essentially doing that, but with Roblox graphics. Like Roblox voxel graphics. And for most people, that's a huge turnoff because their art style whores and they need it to look realistic. Personally, for me, I really like that. I actually really like the idea of a game with, like, a shooter with voxel graphics is really cool. It's a cool idea to me. It reminds me a lot of a game called Ace of Spades, which unfortunately went down in 2018 that I never got the chance to play. Ace of Spades was like a multiplayer shooter mixed with some Minecraft elements where you could remove and place blocks during the match and like open up walls and stuff like that and build things, and almost a precursor to Fortnite in a way, actually possibly even more extreme in the sense of like the sandbox sense. And I always thought that game looked really cool, but I never played it. So when I saw BattleBit, I was like, oh, something else, at least with that art style. Because that it doesn't retain any of those building elements. It's just the art style is reminiscent of that. And I thought the game actually looked really cool. I really like the art style. But I didn't buy it because it was like $15. And I was just, I don't want to spend $15 right now. I went on sale for like $10. And I got like a Patreon check, and it was like, okay, why don't I try it out? So it was an interesting experience going in, because what I heard about it was, you will love this game if you love Battlefield. If you like Battlefield, you'll love this game. Because it's just doing that, but with all the bullshit from the recent entries taken out. Highly stable, super fast matchmaking. And it's Battlefield gameplay. Battlefield-type gameplay. Now, I have never played a Battlefield game. I found out from playing Battlebit Remastered, I guess I just hate Battlefield. Wow. I really wanted to like this game. I have not bounced off of a game this hard in a really, really long time. I'm struggling to remember the last time I picked up a game and within literally seconds of playing it was thinking about refunding it. So, okay. Let's start out. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not going to be a podcast. This is a certified... Welcome to the hater section of the podcast. This is now where I'm just going to be sucking its dick because I have nostalgia for Battlefield. So BattleBit, you load in, and there's a lot of positive things about the game. Number one, very small install size, which might seem strange, but just, I don't know. I appreciate that. I think it's because it's so low res and so simple graphically. It makes it extremely lightweight. Never had any kind of lag issues. Servers very stable. Matchmaking almost instantaneous, like under 30 seconds to get into a match. All that stuff, I totally see the appeal. I load into a game. I don't know what's going on. I see a map. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm picking like where I'm going to spawn in. I click on a class. I just pick Assault because it seems like the most standard all-rounder. I'm not trying to go with anything zany. Let me just do the most basic kind of class to begin with. I spawn in, I drop in the spawn point. I take 3 steps, and I immediately feel nauseous. Oh my god. The head bob in this game, by default, is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I can count on one hand the number of games that have actually given me motion sickness. It would be Portal, The Unfinished Swan, Heretic, and this game. And now with all those other ones, Portal, I mean, obviously, you're zooming super fast and your gravity is completely flipping. Yeah, okay. Unfinished Swan, that game, that's actually a cool game. It's a cool puzzle game from like 2012, 2011, something like that. That's a game where like you paint in, you throw globs of paint. It's in first person. You throw globs of paint at the world. It's completely white, and you throw globs of paint to paint things in like monocolors, to which like gives them lighting and stuff like that, and it makes them defined objects, and that's how you like tell, so you like understand where you are. So that game kind of inherently messes with like your brain's orientation. Heretic, I think I just played at like a weird angle. I don't know what that was. I think I just was playing that game at a weird, like I was slouched a certain way, and it messed with my head or something like that. All of those are understandable in their own ways. Battlebit was literally taking 3 steps. The head bob was so absurd. It's like a fucking parody. It's like a parody of like stupid FPS decisions. Like, it makes me wonder if because you'll see stuff like this in other games, or with like motion blur, and it makes me wonder if the developers of these games are like all wheelchair bound or something like that. Like, have they ever walked before? You know, I'm gonna say something totally crazy which they may not understand, but the human eye has actually evolved to be able to stabilize on a point pretty easily. I can do it without thinking at all. I am not constantly bobbing my head around and swinging like I'm at a metal concert, like I'm headbanging every step that I take. So I immediately went in, cranked that to fucking 0. And it still was there. Like, there's still some just built into the game, but significantly less to the point that it was playable. Like, I'm serious. I felt dizzy walking around in that game. What the fuck? So, okay, that's taken care of. Immediately, like, not a great foot to get off on with a game. But hey, I was like, alright, I want to be a little bit patient. It's not a style of game that I've played before. Maybe the options are just a little weird. Maybe I'm just not used to this sort of thing in this subgenre. Let me just be a little patient. So I started playing it, and I was actually trying to play the game and engage with the combat and the multiplayer and the deathmatch and all that. And it's like a capture the flag type game mode, but whatever. Here's my experience. I walk out. I died. Okay. Alright. Someone revived me. Alright. I take 2 steps. I died. I'm dead again. Alright. Let me respawn again. I walk out. I run around for a bit, looking in the vague direction of the objective. And then I die. Okay. Alright. It's a waste of time. I'm not going to continue the bit any further. It was a consistent cycle of me running around doing nothing and then dying. I never really got to engage in actual shooting with other people, which I thought was the point of a first-person shooter. It was kind of just it felt like a military sim with how brutal it was with the time to kill. Like, kind of ridiculous. It was just a continuous series of Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead? Okay. And not even understanding what happened or where I was shot from. Like, absolutely nothing. I just felt confused. I was doing nothing. I was bored. I was confused. And then we won or we lost after about 10 minutes. I played like 3 matches, and then I closed the game after 30 minutes. And I said, ugh, I am really thinking about refunding this. I have never refunded a game on Steam before. It's the first game, and it was like immediate. It was like an immediate feeling of like, I knew within that first like 5 minutes, oh man, I am not feeling this. But I stuck it out. I stuck it out just to like, okay, maybe there's like a rough patch. Maybe I just have to get into it real quick. I'm willing to give a game more than 5 minutes of trying it out. And then it did not improve at all, and it was the same thing for the entire session. And then I closed the game, and I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning, and I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe I worked on the video. I got my work out of the way. It was the afternoon. I was done, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just because I was kind of tired last night. I just didn't have a lot of patience. I just wasn't feeling it. Let me try again. I loaded it up again. I said, okay, I've got 30 minutes on the game. Steam, you can refund if you've got under 2 hours. Let me try. I set a timer on my phone, just in case. I set a timer on my phone. I was like, let me just try like another sitting. And if I start having fun, I won't refund it, right? I'll keep it around in my library. I played for 15 more minutes and then closed the game and sent a refund request because absolutely nothing had changed. My experience was the exact same. It was as unfun and boring as the first time. Wow. And it made me feel kind of insane. So I got my refund. I got my $10 back. It made me feel kind of insane. It made me feel like, what am I trying to remember? Was a thing where I just... Oh, that was a big stretch. What was the last thing where I was really confused as to why so many people were into it? I can't remember. But I was in that like... I genuinely could not understand how... And right even now, I do not understand what people find enjoyable about it. About that game? If it's like Battlefield, why do you guys like Battlefield? This is miserable. This sucks so much ass. And so I started really trying to look up like videos and I don't know, some kind of testimonials, just to figure out why people like this game. Like, okay, maybe I just need to have someone explain it to me. Because I usually try to understand what people... I try to be empathetic, you know? I try to understand, you know, imagine myself if I was a different kind of player. Even if a game isn't appealing to me, I like to try to at least imagine what kind of an audience it would appeal to. I think that's like I don't know, healthy. It's just like a healthy bit of nuance to keep in mind because you know I do a lot of talking about stuff, and I try to do that a lot, like in my videos and on this podcast. But it was so hard for me to even begin to understand what was appealing about it, and I looked up some videos. I watched there's an IGN review of it. Funny enough. And they don't really say... okay. It's weird because, like, the review... I'm like, it makes sense as a review. The problem is that everyone who talks about the game already likes the base gameplay. To the point where it's almost taken as a given that they just like it. But I couldn't find anyone, and if you're listening right now and you like these kinds of games, I really am curious on like a very basic fundamental level, what you find fun about the gameplay loop of this style of a game. Because it is on such a deep, like, level 0 level with me. Like, absolutely, like, marrow level with me. Unappealing. Like, absolutely nothing was good. I don't like the fucking way... I hate the recoil on the guns. I get that that's, like, a part of the genre. But, like, man, I really don't like playing... It reminded me how much I dislike playing shooters with a fuck ton of recoil. I just find it annoying. I don't care about realistic guns in my video games. I care about the video game. That's not personally appealing to me. That's something that I can concede. I can see why someone might be interested in that. But it's not interesting to me, and it's not fun. It's anti-fun for me. I don't know, man. Like it's in the 21 Pilots camp of things that I cannot even begin to understand what people enjoy about it. I wonder if that made anyone upset. I wonder if saying that made anyone upset. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just the worst experience I've had with a game in a really long time. I have not been so thoroughly turned off of a game so quickly in forever. I just touched the controls and it felt like shit. Hey, if you like it, I don't know. I've heard, I don't know, what I could glean, like, things like people love the voice chat and, like, the proximity voice and stuff like that. And I immediately turned that shit off as soon as I got into a game and I heard some guy grumbling, like, rah, 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 rah. I'm turning this fucking, I'm muting. I'm turning the volume down on all the voice chat stuff. Not appealing to me. And I watched, like, there's a video by, his name is, now it's Bricky. It used to be Bricky Orchid 8. But Bricky, I like his videos. He's now like he used to be a League of Legends YouTuber. And then he transitioned into a bunch of weird stuff when he quit League. He does, like, a lot of Warhammer videos now. He does, he made a video about Guilty Gear Strive, which I thought was fun. He makes a lot of videos, I don't know, just about kind of games and genres and stuff that he's into, with these sorts of, I don't know, sort of a nakey jakey kind of style video. It's his own thing, but that's how I would describe them. And he's talking about BattleBit. He made this glowing video review of it. There are a lot of things that he pointed out, like features and little mechanics. Like, how you can drop a magazine, or you can combine ammo from 2 different magazines and stuff like that. That I'm like, okay, I can see how that would be interesting to someone who likes this genre. Is this what it's like? Is this what it's like when someone who's not into fighting games hears me talk about, like, the combo structure or something that sounds completely fucking unimportant in a fighting game? That's the thing, is what this did is it gave me some helpful perspective. Because, wow, a very common argument for why fighting games are not as popular as, let's say, FPS games, is that, excuse me, is that fighting games are not intuitive and first-person shooters are, like, immediately understandable. It's always people who say things like, you just jump in and you start shooting guys. And it's a completely, because that was not my experience at all. As someone who got into shooters as, like, after fighting games, that was not my experience. Getting into shooters was actually kind of rough at first. It just doesn't seem rough to you because you've been playing them for forever. So it seems intuitive in the same way that I can pick up most fighting games and it just kind of clicks. No, there's a lot of things about the experience, even in now having played a lot of shooters, that did not click for me with this particular game. And I can imagine that but instead of being this one game, an entire genre. You can just extrapolate that kind of an experience that I had of like, I don't know what's going on. I keep losing. I keep dying. I'm confused. It's not fun. I don't get what's happening. I feel like I'm not doing anything. That is not a thing that is unique to fighting games. It can happen in any genre. Difference is that fighting games fucking rule. Now I'm being biased. Yeah. I tried. Yeah, I tried. I tried and I just couldn't. I'm sorry, fans of Bat the Bitch, you bastard, but just not a Taigen game. Actually, quite an anti-Taigen game, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to like it. I really did. I want a game like this that looks like this, with this kind of an art style, to just be fun, and it just wasn't. It was miserable.